I don't know if we will or not. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? How are you? I'm doing well.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I've got one. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is. Yeah. Forget about it. Forget about what I said. Then I look down to number 12. And I see.
All right, would you please stand for our invocation? Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today. Father, we thank you for all that you do for us. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to serve the citizens of Zandt County. We just ask that you give us wisdom and guidance in the decisions that we make, that we show that we are good stewards with what has been entrusted for us. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the rain, and we ask for much more, Father, in measured quantities, please. And it's in your Son's precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, I would like to announce that we do have a quorum. All of the commissioners and myself are present. We are called to order. Are there any general announcements? No general announcements, okay. Are there any public comments? Okay. We will have a public hearing on the budget here in a little bit. So item number 4, discuss, consider authorizing the county judge to sign a maintenance service agreement with Lofton Equipment Company for maintenance on backup generators at Van Zandt County radio tower sites to begin October 1st, 2026. Again, as part of our radio project, we these backup generators in the event that power goes out, and this maintenance contract is for Lofton to come out and check the generators and make sure they're operating properly and change the oil and the maintenance. And the total, there's 5 generators. The total is right at $5,846.46 is what it totals up to. So is there a motion?
Motion to approve county judge signing the maintenance service agreement with Lofton.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Ooh. I'll give it to Commissioner Curtis. This one. So any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 5, discuss, consider authorizing the county judge to sign agreement with TK Elevator Corporation to add the elevator located at 1900 North Trade Days Boulevard, Canton, Texas, to the current maintenance and service agreement. And it's just a matter, we have a maintenance agreement with the elevator here in the courthouse, and this is just adding the elevator over at the building on 1900 North Trade Days Boulevard to that for $250 a month or $3,000 a year.
It also includes the inspection. There's annual inspection required on elevators in the state of Texas. Do you know if that includes the?
I do not know if that, we typically.
I'm sure it does. I think so. That's part of it. So, but I would make a motion to approve you signing the agreement with TK Elevator to add that.
Okay, motion is made. Is there a second?
That's it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 6, discuss, consider setting the 2027 Department of Motor Vehicles optional county fees. These are the fees that the tax assessor collector collects when they're doing the motor vehicle registrations. And it's a $10 road and bridge fee, and there is a $1.50 child safety fee. And there's no change in the amount that we are going to request. So is there a motion to set the fees for the motor vehicle optional county fees?
No motion.
Is there a second?
No second.
Is there any further discussion?
What do those go to? I'm sorry, you might have said it and I missed it. I was reading.
Those fees go to.
Oh, I read it in the packet. No, you can say it if you'd like, but I
Right.
recall.
They go to the cities. There's a child safety allocation fee that is broken up, and I don't know, the auditor's office has the determination of how it's broken up, but it gets paid to the city of Canton, Edgewood, Fruitvale, Wills Point on a quarterly basis. They're paid out. And then there's also payments that are made to the Child Advocacy Center on a quarterly basis. So the total amount that we paid out this year is right at $65,000, and it's anticipated it'll be around 90,000 to 100,000 by the end of the year when we make the quarterly payment.
Why don't they get paid out to Vandy Grand Saline too?
I don't know. Let me check and see if it's on there. Nope, there's no van, there's no Grand Saline. You'll have to ask the auditor's department on how that,
But this vote today sets those amounts.
Right.
And you're just keeping them the same the way you kept them.
that is correct, yes. So is there a motion? Oh, we got a motion.
Well, yeah, it's-
Sorry, what is this?
Is that time sensitive? We have to have that in by a certain amount of time, or is it an opportunity we could check and find out where that money is going?
Uh,
Do you know? Right.
There is a list, but there was a question of why does Grand Saline and Vandy not get?
Well, most of the time over here in my precinct, we get treated like stepchildren, so.
That has nothing to do
Nobody
with
called them
approving
you.
fees. Just out here.
if you want to table this, I don't think it has to be done by,
Judge, I would mention that the motion and second are on the floor, and so we probably should
okay,
go forward.
you're right. And besides, this isn't, all we're looking at is who's
Fees.
getting the allocations,
Yes.
not
Right.
what, if we're gonna do. So, and we will check into that. So is there all those in favor, say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
We'll just look into it. We'll just look into see what the.
Okay. All right, item number 7, discuss, consider approval of the Wisdom City subdivision plat located on Van Zandt County Road 2410 in precinct 2.
Anybody here with Wisdom City today? I've reviewed this. It's 6 lots. Each one of them are 1.109 acres each. And they have all of their will serve letters. And so I make a motion to approve this subdivision.
Second.
All right, there's the plat right there.
It's a fine looking piece of property.
So motion is made, seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 8, discuss, consider the replat of lot 18, lot 26, Bilboca Vista subdivision located in Van Zandt County Road 3831 and Van Zandt County Road 3815 in precinct 3.
Yeah, Judge, this is mine, and it's a family deal where they're, the way I understand it, they're combining it. And it's they're just replanting it to Keegan, you can explain it better than I can. She was in.
They're moving the lot line to where their son can have a piece of property, but son didn't want all of the back piece of property on lot A. So instead of 2 straight pieces, they turned it into an L and a 4.82 or 4.52 acre piece at the other side.
4.82.
But since it was already in a subdivision, we had to go through their replanting process because the exception was for land. Kind of an amendment, they're not creating more lots, so they won't have to go forward with a public hearing or a second hearing.
And everything has been done correctly and,
Including the program.
okay. And I'll make a motion that we accept this.
Second.
All right, motion been made. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 9, discuss, consider setting salaries, expenses, and other allowances for Van Zandt County elected officials and precinct officers for local government code 152.013C, subsection C. Okay, we posted, we met and decided that a 3% increase for all elected officials that was properly posted in the newspaper. And now we come back and we had a grievance hearing on Friday, and there were 2 positions in which were grieved. And so all of the positions are at 3%, except for Constable Precinct 3. Is two, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And I highlighted one, so I just got all. Read for 63,959.61 instead of the recommended 3% at 59,000. And it was unanimous from the grievance committee to award him that. So that will change Constable 2's salary to 63,959.61. And then District Clerk, the 3% raise would take it to $67,672.16. And the committee awarded $77,456 to that position, but it was not unanimous. Therefore, it comes back to the Commissioners Court for consideration. So, floor is now open for discussion on that position.
You know, I at that hearing, I brought up that, you know, the natural result of this of successful grievance hearings, and the people of Van Zandt County have the right to, and that's who these were. These are people from the grand jury that said they would serve on this grievance committee. They weren't any elected officials, so they were regular citizens that that comprised this group of 10 individuals. And for the Constable in Precinct 2, they unanimously voted to give him additional, which is over and above what the constables on 1, 3, and 4 will receive over this next year. And for the district clerk. And you know what? I agree that each and every one of them deserve what they were given by these members of the grand jury. The district clerk does an incredible amount of work, but you know, all of the people who work in the county, and I'm going to talk specifically about those folks that work outside, the road crews out in the heat all through the summer. I didn't hear any complaints about, you know, I need an air conditioned suit, you know, get me a scuba suit with an air conditioner. These guys just got out there and worked, and they drank water, and they did what they could do. And we're prepared to give them a raise. And so in this grievance hearing, I mentioned, you know, the natural consequence of the grievance process means that while this year we had 2, next year, can you imagine that a constable is not going to come back and grieve their salary next year? It was unanimous. Can you imagine, you know, any elected official not coming back next year and grieving their salary because they said they're going to give it to them, and if I don't go in there and ask for an increase, well, that's silly of me because I'm just leaving money on the table. And that naturally will result in increased taxes, because one of the major costs for the county is salaries, is people. We need good people. You know, we need good people. I know we need good people. But when you pay them more, it is going to naturally result in a tax increase. And as soon as I shut my mouth, one of the folks on the grand jury said, "You're threatening us." And I said, "It's not a threat. This is just the facts." If you give more money to those folks that are receiving it, but you know what? I think in the back of the citizens' minds, they're saying, y'all are wasting so much money that you should just take it off of one of these wasteful projects that you're on. Well, tell us which wasteful project. Tell us where we have third-party outside auditor that audits us each and every year. And the budget is public. Anybody can look at the budget and see what's going on. We streamlined over this last year. The auditor's office does exactly what they're supposed to do. If something's not in the budget, they don't allow it to be spent. So in this year, I think as we get into it a little bit later, we'll find that we're dipping into not the reserves, not the required reserves. We try to keep, you know, 10% of our budget or a little bit more in reserve for emergencies in case a tornado, outbreak of tornadoes hits us or something that has occurred in the past, or a horrible storm that makes roads impassable. So I wanted to point that out. Some folks believe it is a threat against you, that if the salaries agreed and they're increased, that we're going to unilaterally raise taxes. The fact is that when you spend more, you have to cover that, because we're not going to get into the position where we're borrowing money to make payroll.
I'll say on top of Cliff's, he said what I said. If you were in that grievance hearing, we do have a problem with our salary. Just take Karen, for example. She's a district clerk. She's been here 24 years. And somebody that's been here working 24 years, if somebody comes in here on day one, can make the same thing as her. And that's not right. So we have a salary problem, and we're going to address that today in the budget hearing. I think we've got a way to.
It's a mechanism problem where you don't give people credit for their longevity.
And I've got an idea that I'm going to present in the budget workshop about that. And also with what Cliff said, we did the salary survey not too long ago, and everybody was the second least paid out of the counties our size, except for the constable. They were in the median, 13 out of 23. And the grand jury decided to give them more. Now they're in the top 10%, where everybody else is still number 2 or 3. Karen just went to the median. And I told him, I was like, well, if you want to do this, it's going to be a domino effect, like Cliff said. And how do we pay for that? Where do we get our money from? Property taxes. If that happens, property taxes are going to rise. And they got mad at me for saying it. And they said they got mad at me for saying it. That's one reason the constable got the money, because they got mad at me for saying it. But it's the truth. So I'm saying we table this, and we've got to look at something in that budget workshop, especially like for people like Karen, who's been here a long time. They deserve to be paid more than somebody who's been here one day. And I think there's a solution to that. We'll talk about that in the workshop. So I motion to table this.
Are you asking to table it till the end of the meeting today?
No,
Because I don't think that
We can't.
we can't.
No, well, we can table it, but we can't go modify anybody else's salary, if that's what you're talking about.
No, it's not going to be modifying a salary. It's going to be, and I haven't got with Jessica on this. I'll have to get with her on this. We've tried this before, longevity pay for people we don't have this structure, but the longevity pay to get that in there was a nightmare. And we looked at it and we don't even know where to start on it.
Well, my
But what if we did
recommendation,
supplemental pay?
well,
4 years of service.
my recommendation would be is that we go ahead and pass what we've got established here, because as we've seen 2 years ago, where we made a last minute change, it caused a huge problem and we didn't think it through properly. So perhaps we pass this one that we've already had discussions on, and we do that legwork over this next year, so that can be put in place in next year's budget. That's what my friendly ask would be.
If that's what we have to do, it's what we have to do. I didn't know we had to prove this today. If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do.
Well, I'm not sure if it has to be approved today, but it's.
Well, what we don't want to
You know, Ben?
Well, it affects my electricity. Yeah, we have to post in the paper 10 days before here.
I think the best, I think Commissioner Curtis would agree with me, is that we have taken action sometimes too quickly without thinking through all of the specifics related to the actions that we take. And I think that'd be my friendly ask, is that let's do the legwork over the next year to put this, because that longevity pay, that's very important in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. And if it's possible that we can do it, I think we need to do it, because we don't want two people in the same position maybe some people do, but I don't think you want two people in the same position and one has 15 years of experience and they're making the same amount of money. And that happens all the time in all the departments.
And it's not just elected officials. It's everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's all 300 of us.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the elected official salaries with the changes from the grievance committee?
I'd make the motion to approve the salaries as they were with the recommendations of the grievance committee.
All right, is there a second?
We don't have a choice on Heath's,
No, we don't.
so it's just Karen's.
Yes.
Are we voting to approve Karen? Is that basically what we're doing?
Yes.
Well, we're voting to
Voting.
approve all of them, and my motion is that Karen gets the recommended, from, which brings her up to the median.
And I don't have a problem with Karen's. Now, I do have a problem with the other one.
But we don't have a voice in that.
We don't
That
have,
one's
we don't have a
unanimous.
voice in that, but we can fix that through the supplemental pay. But if it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah, it's not.
The problem I had with it, and I don't have any problem with Karen. And I don't, I had a problem with the people that had to make a snap decision without fully probably knowing where we're at, how all of this works. They just make a decision and then we have to figure it out. Like, so, and I don't even really have a problem with that.
You're
Like,
talking about
The citizens,
salary grievance committee
Yes,
making a decision, but they're not held accountable to making it work. Is that what you're talking about?
like they had limited information that they were making that decision on. And we really, there's no way in a 30-minute meeting you can catch all that up. I mean, like, I would have much rather them had a week to make a decision on it. It's clear that Karen needed more money. Like, she's earned that to me. To me, it's clear. Like, I don't even know. I don't think anybody's irreplaceable. It'd be tough to replace Karen, just the wealth of knowledge that she has, things that she does. So, and I agree with you. There does need to be some kind of change in the longevity, some way to reward people when they've been here, been through all the things they've had to go through. So,
but I don't think anybody in this county should be in the top 2 or 3 or 4 in pay for counties our size, because we're not generally an industrial, commercial centered tax base. We're a rural, agrarian tax base, and so they don't measure.
That's the main reason. Well, there's 2 reasons why Van Zandt County salaries are on the bottom of all the 23 counties. And one is that we're rural, we don't have an industrial base for tax. And the second is we went for 12 years with no pay increases.
Right.
And or decrease, actually had decreases or no pay increases, which just put us further and further behind. And we tried to catch up a couple of times, but it's just, once you get behind the curve, you can't get caught up unless you do something major. And
and there is, it's like Commissioner Barton said that there's only one way to cover that, and that is to raise tax. You said that, didn't you? There's another way to cover it, but it's called cutting services. And, road and bridge, if you cut services to road and bridge, you get tarred and feathered by the public because they want their roads, their infrastructure. And then if you think about growth, the court has made a decision to go forward and growing or adding structures, an annex, but at some point all that's going to be necessary. Like the county can outgrow the resources we have to serve the county if we don't move forward, in increments. So, you could raise taxes or you could cut services. You could just say, well, we're just not going to do that. There's a whole lot, maybe a whole lot of little things we can do to cut it, but just needs to be a lot of forethought in the decisions that we make on how we go forward on all that. I think Brandon is, Brandon's always hitting the gas, I'm hitting the brake, but it's necessary. It's the process of working through our problems. So anyways, I'm done.
We're going to have to take a deep dive. When I say we, so us, into every single department on what's going on, where can we cut, what doesn't need to be cut, because the precedent has been set. And I don't blame them if every single official agrees next year and wants to be the second highest paid person out of 23, because they have every right to do it because the precedent was set Friday. Not Karen. With
No.
another position.
They brought her up to median, which is just.
So we have a motion. We don't have a second. Is there anyone who's going to
No, I thought Bobby
second?
said- I thought Bobby did.
No, I'm out here by myself.
All right.
Am I sure? So
If there's-
what we're voting on is Karen's.
No, we're voting
Voting on
on
everybody's salary.
everybody,
Oh,
all elected officials.
If there's not a second today, correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's not a second, then everybody stays at last year's rates, period.
elected officials.
All elected officials stay at last year's rates.
Except for Heath and Karen.
No,
Well,
except,
no, Karen would, except for Heath.
Right.
all right, I'll let
Well,
one.
I'll
know.
second it.
All right.
Nobody's gonna second it.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of setting the salaries, expenses, and other allowances for the Van Zandt County elected officials and precinct officers as per the posted notice with the changes made from the Salary Grievance Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Hold on. There's something we're gonna bring up.
Yeah, I'm
Bring
not
this up.
done with it either.
Huh?
I'm not done with it either. Go ahead.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. This came up too. Me and Mitch talked about this yesterday. With travel allowance, with car allowance. So I'll stick with me and Mitch. Mitch runs his operation totally different than me. He goes to the barn. He works on the roads. And he's in a county vehicle. And say he's over here near Edgewood and he has a meeting in Canton at the courthouse. It's stupid for him to go back to the barn to get his personal vehicle and drive to the courthouse. So he drives the county vehicle to the courthouse. And with that, maybe we need to look at going back to, and this would be up to Mitch and well, I guess it's up to all of us. If it's better utilized to have a county vehicle for some and some not for others.
Yeah, I don't know, like my day yesterday is I drove my personal vehicle to 1923 and got on a maintainer and worked a maintainer all the way to 1804, which is from the west side to the east side, you know, and then tried to find a ride back to my personal vehicle. But my guys are like all scattered out, like we are scattered all over the north end of the county. And I don't know, 2 or 3 days last week, which didn't hurt me. I probably walked a mile and a half in 108-degree temperature, you know, which I was wondering about it at about a half a mile, you know, and what I was doing. But, you know, people say, well, you shouldn't be out there working. Well, at some point I won't have to be, but at this point I am. I'm going to be a road commissioner. That's what I ran on. So anyways, and we took some heat over that in that hearing about car allowances and different things like we were, I don't know.
And there is a law, so we do have to look at that, but I guess I'm asking, is it better utilized for you to have a county truck?
Can I, this is something we need to talk about in the budget, not here. This
This
is
has to do
not,
with salaries.
no, we either say yes or no to what's on here.
Yeah, you got the $15,000.
Yes, we either say yes or no to what has been published.
So can we change it if we want to change it?
If we do, we have to go repost it. If we change it, we have to repost
So we can't change it. Okay.
it. And to post it, you have to have a 10-day notice, and then we come back, and then that also sets into motion the grievance, another grievance hearing when it's changed.
If you want to do that this year.
Wow.
I'll have a hard time, like, I have a hard time, I don't have a problem with Karen's raise at all. Like, I'm good with that. I have a hard time giving raises when we know that we're fixing a budget 600, close to $600,000 in the hole.
Due to reduced property values this year.
And we have, I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this. We've assumed that we're going to go to the voter approval tax rate. Is that the assumption? Or we're making these decisions and we're having a
Coming
workshop.
up in a little while.
Okay.
Well, I don't understand what you just said, Judge. You said we have to have it today. And then now if we start changing it, well,
No, what I'm saying is, if you make changes to any of these salaries based on what's already been published, you have to republish them. And when you republish them, that sets in motion the grievance committee hearing again, which is another, you're looking at 2 weeks, which would not give us enough time to get that decided before to approve the budget. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to get it right. I mean, it's never gonna be right. but- Okay. Well, there's been a vote in a second, so I guess we voted.
All right. All those in favor of setting the salaries as discussed, say aye.
Aye.
Can I say one more thing? May I? I'm gonna say so basically, if we don't approve this, we open the door up for another grievance committee.
That is correct. Okay. So did you want to vote? Did you want?
No.
All right, it passes. I'll vote aye.
Yes.
No, Brandon is not voting.
I abstained for the first time in 4.5 years. 4 years.
There should have been a few more, but
All right, that, item number 10, public hearing on the proposed budget for local government code 111-007 for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2027. The budget was posted, or was completed and posted on August 15th or 14th. And it's online for anybody to look at. And this hearing is to allow anyone who would like to make comments or ask questions about so we will now exit our regular meeting, go into a public hearing at 9:34. And does anybody wish to speak about the proposed budget? Okay. Well, I'd just like to say that last year was very tough. This year, as far as putting the budget together, this year, I think we are better equipped as far as what the budget goes, of knowing where the numbers are. And the numbers do not look good from the standpoint that the market value went down and our revenues went down. So the no new revenue, we'll talk about the tax rates here in a little bit. And what was published here, we've had 2 different workshops since, and we've added to the budget another close to $500,000. But we are going to continue working on this in regards to potential cuts on what is in there, as well as additions to things that need to be changed. And so we got a budget workshop this afternoon at 2:00 where we're going to hit some of these highlights. So,
it might also be beneficial, Judge, to mention that, while we do create these budgets on an annual basis, we don't generally spend all of the money that we budget. Last year, for example, if you were sitting right here, this spot, this time last year, you'd think that we were going to be and we were just barely squeaking by. But this year, because so many departments did not spend all of the money that they had been allocated, that more than $2 million was put back into the reserve. And so what we're doing, and we had discussions this year during the budget process to say, you know what? Perhaps this year, rather than raising the tax rate to its very top, maybe let's look at using some of the money that is in reserve rather than. Now, you'll hear as we get into the talk about the tax rate. But my thought is that, you know, this is still the taxpayers' tax money that they've spent in prior years. It'd be better to use some of that money for shortfall than it would be to raise the property taxes. You know, but we'll get there. But I just wanted to make that, I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed with what my thoughts, I can't speak for anybody else, but my thoughts related to this issue.
But a lot of the, Cliff, I'd like to say on what you was talking about, the $2 million that we had to come back, or possibly 2 million, that setting this past year's budget, we went back and we asked every department to cut everything they could possibly cut to get us in to where we would like to be. And I feel like that every department done a fantastic job of that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think they all took it a step further, and the whole year, they continued to cut. And I want to thank each department for that, because I think that's where it put us where we are today.
And a lot of those, I don't know what the percent is, but they ask them, why don't we budget so much, that much more, we bring that much back? A lot of it is unknowns. Like we have indigent health. A lot of it has to do, most of it has to do with jail. Not picking on Kevin, but indigent health, indigent defense, basically for the stuff that are state mandated that you don't know what it's going to cost. One year may be 100,000, next year it's going to be 600,000. You don't know, it varies by year, but you have to budget it accordingly to cover yourself. And that's a lot of where stuff comes back. It's over budgeted, but it has to be, because we don't know a number. If that makes any sense.
It's true.
We weren't working with good numbers last year either. We had some trouble with our numbers. And the jail normally, if I'm not mistaken, it puts the line share back, you know, or the sheriff's office does. What comes back into the budget normally does come from him, doesn't it? Because Road and Bridge rolls back over into Road and Bridge. So,
Yes.
you know, and then it's not that, you know, you present a budget, you start working on a budget, and then you realize you're short, and you go back to the budget, which is proper. Like this what we should do today in this workshop. Just go back through it, trim on it, trim on it, just like you would at your house. You know, you do what you can do, what you have. And there's, you know, it is what it is. I was shocked last year when we started with raises. Like I've never seen that before, but government is different than, I mean, I'm learning. Like sometimes I agree with Ozzy, the philosopher. I feel like I'm going off the rails on a crazy train, trying to get my mind wrapped around it, but we'll just have to keep working on it.
All right. Anything else? With that, we will close the public hearing on the budget at 9:40, and we will go back into our regular meeting. And item number 11, discuss and consider the adoption of the proposed budget for fiscal year 27 to accept, reject, or modify, and take a record vote. And what that is we basically have a good start on it, and what we want to do, in my opinion, is modify what's been presented to.
Same here.
Same here.
All right. So is there a motion?
Motion to modify.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, we have to take a record vote, so I'll just go down the line. And Commissioner Curtis? Aye. Okay. Commissioner Williams?
Sure.
Myself, yes.
Yes,
Commissioner Phillips, yes. Commissioner
Yes.
Barton, yes. So we have taken the record vote. Item number 12, discuss, consider setting a maintenance and operations tax rate at 0.32300 and the special road tax rate at 10 cents for a total tax rate of 0.42300.
Do we table this?
I don't know that we should do that because we can't move forward with the
budget.
with the budget. With the budget and with we're discussing and said we can actually change it if we want to at this point in time. We don't.
So this doesn't make sense to me. We're having a budget workshop at 2 o'clock today. But yet we're gonna set the tax rate today, right now?
Yeah, you set the tax rate to make a determination of how much money you have to work with. And then the budget workshop this afternoon, you look at those places where you can trim to save people, from paying for things that they maybe shouldn't pay for.
So you can adjust the rate later?
Not if we vote on it here and we make.
That's the max? Is that the voter approved tax
This
rate?
is no, we can change it.
After we vote today?
Yes, this is what we're suggesting. But
Is that
it
the
can
voter
be
approved?
changed.
Is that the voter approved rate?
No.
Oops.
This makes no sense to me. So we're fishing to vote on a tax rate, and we're gonna go modify a budget. And we don't know if that budget's gonna go up, but we know it's gonna go up some, or it may go down.
We have to vote on a tax rate in order to set a public hearing on the tax rate itself. And that has to be published in the paper in order to do that. And it has to be in the paper for, I believe, 5 to 7 days. So if we don't do that now, then it throws everything off as far as,
What tax rate are you wanting to set, Commissioner Barton?
I don't really know. Because we haven't fulfilled the budget yet. How can we do a budget if we don't even know what we're basing it on?
I think everybody who sits around their kitchen table knows what they make in a year, and they work then to make sure their expenses don't exceed their income. So let's set the income for folks, and then let's reduce our expenses to meet that, or we'll dip into our savings in order. I mean, we don't anticipate that the current economic difficulties that the nation's going through and the county's going through to continue. I don't expect that. I don't have crystal ball. As I said, it's still in the shop, getting prepared from the crack but doesn't that make some sense? I mean, you don't want to raise the taxes to
No,
meet
I
what
don't
your
wanna
spending
raise it,
is.
But the other day, we had a 4.4230, which is right here, and we were 1.5 million in the hole. And we decided some more to the salary, so we might as well say we're $1.6 million in the hole at 4230. Can we cut $1.6 million? I don't know. We'll find out at 2 o'clock today. But you're putting yourself in a bind, and you're still in a $400,000 hole at the voter approval rate.
I don't know, but how much do we have? How much do we have sitting in reserve?
9 million.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you can afford, to use a portion of that.
To balance it.
But y'all aren't looking forward, just like what you said, next year, you're gonna have everybody come to these salaries. And it's gonna, if it all gets approved, it's gonna exceed the voter approval rate, which we can't go over. And we're gonna dip into that contingency again, and we're gonna get right back in the same spot we were 5
So
years ago.
we have to cut somewhere. Or we have to raise it.
Where are you gonna cut?
I mean, I agree with that, Brandon. I mean, where are you going to cut? Everybody has, the budget has been on a GLP-1 now for the last 2 years that I've been involved with it. It's been taking the shots. So, you know, it is thin. It is skinny budget, but
So my opinion is we have a budget workshop at 2, and if it takes us till 2 o'clock in the morning to get it fixed, we get it fixed today. And if we have to call a special session on Monday for this vote with the tax rate, then we do it. But there's no sense in setting something, well, we're $2 million in the hole, we're stuck, now let's figure it out. How are you gonna figure it out?
I don't disagree with you.
you figure it out the same way you figure it one way, the same way you figure it the other way. You just do the work, you know?
Right, we need to do the work before we vote on this.
So what you're saying is for us to trim it and get it as low as we can, and then come back and pick
Yes.
what we need to set the tax rate at.
Yes.
But it's the same way, if you set the tax rate now, then you just make your
No.
budget fit that.
Because in government, there's some things you cannot cut.
I understand that.
It's backwards to me.
All right, let me go to, I don't know if I can get there. This was our last budget hearing. There we go. The increase we did, road and bridge, 900,000, that was moving. And again, that was going to 25% of general fund going to road and bridge because we cut it to 20%, 20.3% last year, which is about an $800,000 cut. So 900,000 back into there. Salary increases, we've already approved that. That's already there with another $15,000 added to that. So that didn't change. Jail inmates, we don't really have a choice on that because of the increase in the number of inmates due to law enforcement arresting a lot more people than we have in the past. Anyway, so do that. Public buildings, we increased it 283,000, and part of that is going to be improvements to the building in order to accommodate the sheriff's evidence and whatnot. Health
And
insurance.
is that also to increase, add those 24 beds in public buildings?
No, that's under jail.
That's under jail.
That's
Okay.
under jail. It's not
Okay.
under, and then health insurance, we've already committed to this back in 2 months ago. 8% increase, 207,000. Indigent legal, Judge Martin came and told us why. And again, it has to do with the transition that we've got going on. That it's going to cause a lot more additional cost until that gets over. So, new vehicles, that's the sheriff and the constable precinct 4. That actually goes up about another $50,000 because I forgot to put the fire marshal in there. So it's about 200,000. Radio system, 133,000. One of those things is what we just approved, it's a maintenance contract, and there's several other things that will be cost. Jail maintenance, that's the 124,000 to finish out the second minimum security. The first minimum security, we hope to have it done with what we have today. Volunteer fire department. This was something I put in there. I tried for it last year, basically to double what we pay to the fire departments from $600 a month to $1,200 a month. That we need to cut that. We need to fuel countywide. Again, it went up $80,000, and that's because of the price of fuel. Okay, so that right there was a total of $3,076,000. That is above and over what our budget was for last year. Okay, that's the increase right there. Then when we had the budget meeting, we proceeded to add a bunch of new positions, which added another, I think another $400,000 or $500,000 to it. So we're looking at 3.5 million. So if we go back to better way to go through this. Again, okay, these were the positions that we added right here. Okay, which is a total of $611,000. $611,000, of which we had 4 of those already in there. The correction officer we already put in there, but we added. So that's what we've added. But I want to go back to.
Whoa. The
this.
the four correction officers are for the new wing of the jail, right?
That is correct. And we do not have budgeted if we get the second wing in. We don't have any positions budgeted there, but if that happens, then we should have money available that we're not spending with outsourcing inmates that we could use to do that. We'll just have to do emergency.
In theory.
Correct.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have outsourced inmates and open up 24 new beds. It's kind of the thought behind it. I
That's
believe.
backed up like it's, looks like it's been backed up.
We're outsourcing around 30 inmates at the moment.
It's possible, I'll say it again.
So,
it's-
Going back to the basic here on the projected revenues, okay? 25 million is what we did last year as far as and you see the new revenue rate would be at 25. And we are looking at a $3.5 million increase over the 25. Okay. So if you go back and you try to, and I'm not sharing this so that people on YouTube can't see it, I'm sorry. Let me go see if I can do that real quick. So if we do the voter approved tax rate, and actually I put down there 0.44, it's just slightly below it because you don't ever want to go right to the voter approved rate. And the difference is about 170,000. So, but still, that's 27 million. That's 2.277. It's about 2.5 million more than the revenue from last year. But we're looking at 3.5. So we're looking at $1 million.
So our proposed budget right now, you're saying is about $28 million.
Well, technically it's actually about 40 million when you add in all the other stuff that we don't. There's a lot of, and this is what's very confusing to a lot of people, including myself until now. There's a lot of things that we have to budget for that have revenues of their own that I don't put into this. What I'm doing is mostly just trying to show you what was being paid for by property taxes, rather than to convolute it with all of the different things that are basically self-funded. Okay, for example, the ARPA grant and the radio project. You know, it's roughly about $2.5 million that or $3 million that is going to be budgeted, but the money's already in the bank. Okay, so we're not relying on taxpayer money to pay for that, so it doesn't have to show that in there. And there's a lot of different situations where the funds are already received or allocated when they're received and do not come from the taxpayers through property taxes. And so I don't account for them when I'm talking about this 25 million to $27 million.
So what is his question? What was his original question? Our budget's about 28 million.
Now, you know, and the reason why I was saying that, Judge, and it kind of goes to is you want to look at, well, what's your revenue and what are your expenses and what's the difference between those? Because unless you know what all the revenue is and all the expenses, you can't, maybe in my mind, I can't see what the difference might be. So if we took those other streams of revenue and added those to the 27 million, how close would we be to the $40 million total budget? Do we know?
No.
Okay.
So try to say it as simple as I can. So we have not done the voter approval rate the past 2 or 3 years. We've done the best we could. We can only go up 3.5%. Inflation, I don't know what it is, but it's a hell of a lot more than 3.5%. Then you add on top of that the state mandates, which was $500,000 more, I believe, this year. So now you've got inflation here, $500,000 more mandated by the state. And then it's not much, but you take the grievance hearing. If that takes precedence and that continues, there's going to be another $2 million next year if everybody got approved with what they did this year. So you tell me How can we keep up
Without raising taxes.
without going to the voter approval rate? How? If you can tell me how we can do that,
Without
I'll
having
sell
to,
you some, what is it, oceanfront property in Arizona?
without having to cut major cuts in services.
Yes, without having to cut major areas of services. We are fighting, when I say we are fighting a losing battle, no matter what. But if we do this, we're going into battle without a weapon. At least give us a weapon to fight with. But we are fighting a losing battle no matter what. We have to make the best of it. But it's not fun, it's not popular, but if you understood it, you would understood it. I don't want to raise taxes any more than anyone else. But when you've got the way the economy is, plus the state mandates, you cannot keep up. It does not sustain itself. And we'll be right back in 5 years. Kenny, you were there, giving furloughs, not having any money, going and getting a loan to make payroll.
You know, he says $2 million. The increase that was given by the board on Friday was $15,000 for 2 employees. We have 300. So if you multiply 15,000 times 150 more increases, that's $2,250,000. So it wasn't an off the cuff statement, but it was pretty close to reality. If everybody gets something similar next year's grievance hearings, that could be another.
Well, again, grievance hearings are only for elected officials. And there's 19 elected officials.
You're correct. But
And
if
we have managed, Brandon and you and I have managed to get all of the employees' pay up to market rates. Road and Bridge, the clerks, everybody is currently at a market rate. Okay, the only people that are really way below what they should be is elected officials. So you're looking at $10,000 to $15,000 per elected official to get them to the median, not above the median, but to the median.
and that I did that number the other day after that grievance hearing. It's 1.6 million, 1.57.
Well, if everybody just goes to the median, but if people grieve, up like the constable did, up to number 2 or number 3 out of these, then it could be more.
And then your employees are getting further behind. And we're not taking into effect them. And it's just like private business. Your employees is what makes this go. And then your employees start to see this. I don't blame them. I go to Kaufman County, Terrell Smith County, and go get a better job anyway, because the separation is so crazy, because it's unfair.
But and that's why I initially started that budget out with a 5% increase for all of county employees, because to try to stay above the inflation decrease and whatnot. But as we saw,
We couldn't do it.
we couldn't do it, and that was about $250,000 to $300,000 going back from 5% to 3% that we added back in.
These are not good times.
But
And it's
even-
not just this county, it's everywhere.
Even if we did nothing, if we did no increase in salaries, we still have a $300,000 increase in health insurance and other related benefits.
Which we can't control.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
we
why I
know
go back
we
to the
can.
3.5% and the mandates. You cannot keep up if you want to start getting on deficits. It ain't gonna happen this year. It's gonna come back and bite you in the butt.
So I am, it's rather, if we're going to have to raise the rate, raise it to the maximum amount we can, or just below it. And my recommendation is to go to 44 cents, which is basically 34 cents for M&O and 10 cents for Road and Bridge. And that brings us in an additional $2.5 million that can be used for the 3 million that we have really little, we've already committed to in most cases.
So why cannot we not have a budget workshop? Well, we're having a budget workshop at 2. And like I said, I don't care if it takes us 16 hours to get it figured out. We get it figured out. Why can't we call a special session on Monday and we'll be prepared to have a tax rate to vote on? Why don't we have to do it today?
I'm okay with that. If we can do it.
I don't like doing special sessions, but this is a special
Okay,
circumstance.
we wouldn't be able to do it on Monday because you have to have 3 full days. So at the Tuesday.
No, we can do it Monday. Today is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Thursday,
No,
Friday,
if we
3 full
posted it
days.
today,
Okay.
3 full
Then
days,
Tuesday.
that'd be Tuesday.
Then we have a special session on Tuesday.
Well, make your proposal.
I'm
and,
proposing to table this till we go over a budget, and we're gonna have that budget done today. and we have a
You
special
already,
session
you
on
already
Tuesday.
know what tax rate you're interested in. Why don't you just make the
Because we
proposal?
can't, I do know what I'm interested in. I don't wanna
Then
go
make
there,
the-
but I think that's where we're gonna go there.
Then make the
But can
motion.
we can't change it off this 4.230. Because that's what we're voting on.
No, we can.
We did last year. I mean, we did 2 years ago.
Yeah, and you can actually change it when you actually make the approval.
This is the
This
item on the
This is the
agenda.
rate that we're going to put out in the paper.
Okay.
Okay, the purpose of setting a proposed rate today is so that we can publish it, and we'll have a public hearing at the next meeting about the proposed tax rate.
Then yeah, I believe we should go for the 44 cents. We have a budget workshop, we can adjust it, we can adjust it.
Okay, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
All right, Commissioner Barton has made a motion for 0.34 maintenance and operation and 0.10 for special road tax. Is there a second?
So what you're saying is if, or if I understood it right, after we have this workshop, if we see that we can do it by dropping it back, we can drop it back.
Yep. We can't before we actually, again, we're just doing the proposed tax rate.
Then let's just go for the 4.23, because all you are gonna vote no, I'll vote yes.
No.
Let's just do a
No,
budget.
I think you need to put in the newspaper, the top of what you intend to ask for and
Not
then.
anymore, not rest.
And then if we come back
Yeah.
and make, drop it down.
Yeah.
then I second it.
Okay, so for the minutes, which one are y'all choosing?
44 cents.
44 cents. And it's, Commissioner Barton made the motion, Commissioner Phillips seconded it. Is there any further discussion?
Well, that's an improvement over what y'all were last week.
But if you-
Explain.
Well, we were talking about the voter approved tax rate last week and y'all said we had to do it.
Well, the difference is roughly $100,000. $120,000 between the voter approved and what we proposed. Additional revenue.
It's all good.
All right, there's no more,
Go ahead.
are you, I don't want to interrupt, I'm fixing to call a vote. Do you have any more comments?
I do, but I'll keep them to myself.
I need to record that. So,
For
all
now.
right, all those in favor of a tax rate of 0.34 M&O and a special road tax of 10 cents for a total of 44 cents, say aye. All those opposed, like sign.
I don't see how we can vote no for this when we're already $1.5 million over budget and you're voting no, but you don't want to cut the budget.
Because you handed me this today. I don't know how many pages of stuff that we can cut.
Yeah. And
So
that's
we're
why I
fixing to
asked
work
for a
on it.
Special session, but it's passed and one votes no, it's not
passed.
unanimous. when
It's
you
already
can't
passed.
do
We're
it.
gonna cut it.
No, what we voted on here was to publish it to the people so that they have an
Right.
opportunity to
There's still-
respond and tell their commissioners exactly what they want. That's not setting the tax rate.
Right, I understand that.
So I want the people to be aware, because
can slam that table all you want to. I can express myself what I want to do.
It doesn't make sense though. You're
It doesn't
agreeing
make
with
sense
not agreeing
anyways.
with
None of this
tax
makes
rate.
sense. You said the whole time
See,
nothing
you're
makes
taking
sense.
it too.
Bring it. It doesn't make sense. You said you're frustrated too.
Yeah, I am
We're
frustrated.
fixing to slice it to like cheese in a minute, this afternoon.
Consent agenda, is that what we're on now?
Yes. Moving on, item number 13, consent agenda items are considered routine by Commissioner Court will be enacted one motion. No separate discussion of these items unless the county judge or commissioner requests an item be removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be removed?
Motion to approve consent agenda, Your Honor.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Second.
I did.
Commissioner Curtis did. Item number 14, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Hallelujah.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Phillips seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. We will see you at 2 o'clock for our budget workshop.
Bring popcorn.
I need to see that guy.
Go ahead.
I'll sign Mitchell's name. No,
I'm not.
I don't have nice flowery handwriting, so I can't do it. Yes, sir.
Can I take a copy of that?
Yeah, I'm getting inside.